Yo, people, it's Coach Simmons here with another just brainstorming idea I have for the day. Um, I'm gonna bring y'all back to a little history, and I'm gonna bring it back around to Jackson State. All right, just gotta bear with me. This might be a little bit long for you, but you will understand what I mean. Back in the '90s, there was a football team called the Texas Longhorns. They had players like Ricky Williams, Priest Holmes, James Brown, well, good, solid players. Won the Big 12, had an innovative offense at the time. Good, actual players. Now, the question, what happened to this team? Well, they had a coach named John Malkovich, who was not a Southerner at all. He was not from the South. He didn't speak like the people in Texas, but he won. Until he started winning, what you gonna do, right? Nothing. Well, he stopped winning. And they went ahead and got a guy named Mac Brown. Mac Brown had just lost to John Malkovich the year before. Just lost to him. Why would he be taking over? Mac Brown spoke backdoor Texas. Malkovich spoke Austin, Texas. He was getting players from the city. Mac got players from the country. And what does this lead me to right now, Mr. Brewster? Mac Brown's first job at a major university, North Carolina, 1989 1997. The tight end, special team coach, was Tim Brewster. When Mac Brown came to Texas, he had 98 to 2001, Tim Brewster. Mr. Brewster went on to the NFL, coached tight ends for the Chargers, assistant head coach, tight end coach for the Chargers in 2002, 2004. The Broncos tight end coach from 2005 to 2006. Minnesota Golden Gophers head coach, 2007 and 2010. Mississippi State receiver coach from 2012. Florida State tight end coach, 2013, 2017. Texas A&M tight end coach, 2018. North Carolina, back with Mac Brown, 2019. And Florida, 2020, 2021. Assistant head coach, tight end coach. Well, you're like, well, coach, look, man, how are you going to read this man's job history? He's not applying for a job, he already has one. It's true. If you look at the players he's recruited, he got a 5-star, number 1 overall in the country, Marvin Wilson from Bel Air, Texas. defensive tackle. Dalvin Cook, remember him? He recruited him. Amari Lane, another 5-star. Desmond Evans was a 4-star. Malik Henry, another 4-star. Tariq Sapp, another 4-star. Abdul Bello, 4-star. Ontarius Jackson, 4-star. It goes on and on and on. The man is a recruiting dynamo. Now, you may ask yourself, what would Jackson State need with him? They already have Coach O. And like I said, Coach O and the Jackson State recruiting teams are kicking ass. They've had the highest recruiting class that FCS has ever had back-to-back years. So, what is the hard truth about this? Before I get to that, we're going to add a caveat to this. A question that was asked 2 years ago by a guy named Robert Strickland, who's a software engineer. Can a white person get a minority scholarship at an HBCU? Yes. Unlike historical treatment of black people faced at white universities, HBCUs never prevented other groups from going there. Also, no one's hanging nooses around the white guy's door, running around doing whiteface. And yes, a white student can get a minority scholarship as a white person going there. The same deal that black people get from PWIs. So yes, it does happen. I want you also to think about what Coach Prime said. He stated, smart, tough, fast, disciplined, with character. The first thing on there is smart. I keep hearing about the limits of FCS football scholarships, right? We all know what the limit is, 63. That's it. So you have a starting team, a backup, maybe 2 deep. So how do you get more players on your team? This is where the truth comes in. Like I said, I'm not doubting Coach O. I'm not doubting Coach Hart. I'm not doubting anybody on that Jackson State roster. But let's be real about it. They in the South. Everybody knows the difference between FCS/HBCUs and a group of 5, even the Power 5 schools, lies on that O-line, that D-line, and that quarterback. Jackson State believes they have the quarterback. And according to the FCS, they have the best freshman quarterback out of everybody. They believe they have the receivers. In fact, everybody knows they got the receivers. They think they got the secondary. Yeah. They want to make sure they got the line, both sides. And yes, just like John Malkovich, I have no doubt Coach O can walk into any inner city school, any black household, explaining the good parts of coming to Jackson State. Mr. Brewster can probably do better than some of the coaches on their staff. Walking into that household where the kid understands HBCUs and has no problem with HBCUs, but Pawpaw may not. That's the same thing Mac Brown was doing. That's how they got the kids they got at Texas. You make sure the kid can get along and understand the school and understand the players on the school, on the team. Then you get the parents and grandparents on board. That's the angle I think they're going to go. You can give more full ride scholarships. Jackson State, look, I may be wrong. I may be wrong. If I'm wrong, I fess up to it. All right? But Jackson State, I think Alabama A&M is doing the same thing right now as well. But Jackson State can get more money for the school and get more players by getting some of these kids who are your non-traditional HBCU recruits. Let's call them that. And we know Mr. Brewster has a deep history in Texas, Florida, and North Carolina, and Mississippi State. What does that mean? Okay. Looking at the top recruits from the class of 2023. And yeah, I know I took a lot of shit from Coach Prime. I was joking, man. But do what you does. Looking at Alabama, which Coach Prime is targeted, some of the best players on that line are not the typical HBCU recruits. There's a kid from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, named Wilkin Formby, offered from everybody. Alabama, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Georgia Tech, Indiana, and yes, my man is also offered from Jackson State. This is something that is very important. In fact, now this right here is Wilkin Formby. This is one of the reasons I'm talking about. This is what Mr. Brewster can definitely do. 4-star, sitting in the home of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, has offers from everybody and their mama. Offers from Georgia, Auburn, Bama, Clemson, Coastal, Kentucky. You name it, you name it. But I look at stuff a little too deep sometimes, people. What I'm looking at is one, a mountain of a damn man. Yeah, it's just a wall, right? But number one on his recruiting list is Ole Miss. And you know Mike Leach would just love the relationship he has with Coach Prime to help him take out Mike Leach in the Egg Bowl. Or Mike Leach, sorry, Lane Kiffin in the Egg Bowl. I know you're saying, well, okay, so this kid's a big kid, SEC kid. Jackson probably ain't on his radar. That's a damn lie. Jackson just offered him a scholarship. And now you have a kid who understands about playing with minorities and black people. A kid who, by all means, is a great kid, dominant kid. Got somebody to talk to Papa, explain stuff to him. These are the kind of kids Mr. Bruce is going after. Yeah, he'll go after any kind of 5-star. That's no question. But just like at Texas, John Malkovich was not brought in, was not fired because he couldn't get top recruits. You got Ricky Williams, Chris Holmes, Sean Mitchell from LBJ High School. He was brought in because he knew how to talk to Papa. If Tim Brewster can come in here and talk to Papa, it's going to be a problem. Because I do believe, and it's not illegal at all, you can sneak some of these kids in on academic scholarship. You can sneak some of these kids in on minority scholarships. Alabama A&M is doing the same thing. That's how they have the most transfers of anybody in any division. The difference between most of these schools is the trenches. If you can start getting more kids to come to your school, to bring more competition at your school, it's going to be a problem for everybody else. My grandma always told me, the truth will set you free. The truth is, when you start getting those high recruits to come back black recruits come back home, and you start adding the high star white recruits, you're going to have a problem. And that is what Nick Saban was really talking about. Coach Simmons, thanks for listening to the truth today, people. Thanks for listening the whole way.